Russia-Ukraine News Raskin likens the White House under Trump to the Kremlin under Putin. On Sunday, Democratic Maryland Representative Jamie Raskin drew parallels between the public philosophy of the Trump administration and that of Russian President Vladimir Putin. On ABC's This Week, Raskin said, "During the Trump administration, we saw the development of a completely new public philosophy, which is that government is not an instrument of the common. To quote Ronald Reagan, government is an instrument for private self-enrichment for the guy who gets in, his family, and his private businesses." Raskin stated that he does not support this strategy, stating, "That's what Putin is doing." He requested that James Comer, RKY, chairman of the House Oversight Committee, investigate the best way for the government to make money. In response to a line of questions, Raskin was asked if he was concerned about Hunter Biden's involvement in international business. Instead of answering the question, he changed the subject to his worries about then-President Trump and his son-in-law Jared Kushner. "And I'm concerned, not just about public officials like Donald Trump and Jared Kushner, but even family members who go along for the ride, and I've been begging my colleague, Chairman Comer, for us to do a serious analysis of what the laws should be about money-making," he said. Democrats in the House had been looking into Trump's business dealings while he was in office. Raskin said Republicans were wrong to investigate the business dealings of the Biden family but not those of their own party's president. The congressional investigations into the Biden family's business dealings are being led by Oversight Chairman Comer. "And we're going to release a report detailing the millions of dollars in foreign government emoluments that Donald Trump and his family received from hotels, golf courses, and business deals struck while he was in office. However, Joe Biden has not yet been physically assaulted. There is no evidence of criminal corruption on his part as president. All they have is Hunter Biden." For the second time in as many months, Nebraskan taxpayers are sending their government employees to the southern border with Mexico. Some lawmakers are complaining that the state is using federal COVID-19 recovery funds instead of state funds. After sending 10 state troopers to Texas to help with border security, Governor Jim Pillen announced last week that he would be sending over 60 members of the Nebraska Army National Guard to Texas as well. In a rare move for any state requesting aid through the multi-state disaster response system, Pillen, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds, and other Republican governors who responded to Texas Governor Greg Abbott's call for help agreed not to bill Texas. Who is responsible for the costs? Instead, the state of Nebraska will use two separate funds to cover the cost of both border crossings. Preliminary state estimates show that the July trip will cost Nebraska taxpayers at least $128,000 from the patrol's general fund budget. For 2 weeks, drone pilots in Nebraska kept an eye on the border from above. The Guard estimates that its trip to monitor border sections in August could cost up to $2 million. According to Pillen's office, the state will pay for expenses for 1 month and then replenish the Guard's coffers with funds from the American Rescue Plan Act. States like Nebraska are making use of the leeway Congress has given them to spend federal recovery funds designated to help stabilize state and local governments in the wake of COVID-19. The state and local fiscal recovery funds gave the state a total of $1.04 billion. The state of Iowa is also using pandemic money to cover its expenses. The Texas Tribune reported that the state of Texas paid for the additional $1 billion in border security costs by reallocating state funds from public health and safety agencies and supplementing the shortfall with federal funds. This week, a spokesperson for the United States Treasury Department stated her belief that these states were using a provision of the law that allows federal relief funds to be used to replace revenue normally used to pay for regular state government functions.